I ran the numbers a little bit here. I did a little quick math in the break. For the $20 million you're paying Anderson Cooper, you could have, 10 people making $2 million a year, good quality, or you could have half a dozen people making about $3. And if you had co-anchors at 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to midnight, you can have your entire prime time covered with really good, capable, quality people for that same paycheck. In fact, my next guest, I bet he would do it with me, Nick Hopwood, Certified Financial Planner at Peak Wealth Management. Nick, nice to see you this morning. Would you work with me and be my co-anchor if you got $3 million a year?
Absolutely, yeah. Which time slot do you want me in?
Now, and for $3 million a year, we'll pick one. Doesn't matter. It's remarkable that people like CNN and MSNBC are financially broke, but look at the way they waste money. They waste money just like the American government. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it, how much money they waste? Anyhow, nice to see you, Nick.
Hey, Steve, happy Thanksgiving to you and all of your fans.
And happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. Look, I'm looking. You sent me this chart, and I'm going to jump right to this chart because I'm really fascinated by this. Markets are up more than 20% in 2023, more than 20% in 2024. And every time this happens, or generally when this happens, I shouldn't say every time, but generally when this happens, the third year, not a good year, right? The third year can be a little painful like it was in the year 2000, but there was a run there 97, 98, 99, and then we took a big, kick in the knee in 2000. But what do you make of this?
All right, Steve. So as you said it, 23 and so far in 24 have been outstanding years. It's only happened 8 times since 1950, where we have 2 years in a row up 20% per year. And what happens the next year is very interesting. It's positive 6 out of 8 times, so positive 75% of the time. And the average return is 12.3%. So I would push back against what you said. I think that next year is setting up to be decent. The only thing is, the PE, the price of the market is stretched. So it can't continue at this pace forever. But we are in a bull market, and the trend is up.
Well, for people, look, you look at mutual funds, that's firefighters and school teachers and retirement funds and union members and all of that. I think they'd be very happy with 12% increase in year 3. Would they not?
Absolutely. I think we all would.
Yeah, so that's a pretty healthy place to be. What do you think the optimism is, generally speaking? I'm looking at the market here. It's almost 45,000. And I think there's an optimism in this country about what's coming into Washington in January. The possibility of a healthier environment financially. Maybe energy is going to get a lot of boost from the Trump administration, which I would guess. What's your general feel of the optimism out there?
Yeah, I think the election has generated optimism. The pro-business policies, the prospects of less regulations, the prospect of DOGE coming in and right-sizing the government budget. I think all those are positives, especially with small caps when it comes to the regulations. But also we have this artificial intelligence revolution, which is, enhancing productivity. So that's very important as well.
So I want to talk about DOGE for just a minute here. They claim, does Elon and Vivek, that they can carve out $2 trillion in spending. It'd be pretty remarkable if they could, Nick. $2 trillion, because look, there's only about 15% of the budget you can even touch. Everything else is, the one thing the government's good at is mailing checks and overpaying for things. They do it every day, very well at that. You think they can hit that mark? $2 trillion is pretty optimistic.
I don't think so. Like you said, there's too many things that are entitlements that must be spent, like Social Security, Medicare, and the interest on the debt is crowding out everything else. But I'm hopeful that they can cut hundreds and hundreds of billions. The only way that we can get to 2 trillion is to reform Social Security and Medicare, and I don't think that's happening. Although I am hopeful that they can look at some of these medical contracts with the hospitals, insurance companies as it relates to Medicare and trim out some of that fat. There's probably a real opportunity there.
The interest is 11% on the debt. 11% of the budget is spent on debt servicing right now as far as interest rates goes. All right, so small caps. You're bullish on small caps. What are they and why are you fired up about them?
Yeah, these are the U.S. companies that are generally under $10 billion of market cap. And it's different than the Dow companies, the big S&P global companies that receive a lot of their revenue from overseas. The U.S. companies bullish for two reasons. Number one, the Trump lack of regulations that should be coming in, eliminating regulations which affect the domestic companies the most. And secondly, interest rates coming down. When we have interest rates coming down, the companies that are most benefiting from those are the smaller companies. And finally, they've trailed the S&P and the Dow by so much over the last 2 years. It's time to play a little catch up, a little contrarian view there.
Yeah. One other thing here, Nick gives me his cheat sheet, when he comes on, because look, he's the expert. I'm just a consumer. I get the same advice that most people get. I look at the market like anybody else. I don't know it as well as people like Nick Hopwood. But there's this thing out here about TGI Fridays. And I'm confused about gift cards. $50 million in gift cards are floating around out there. Is that what this says?
Yeah, so Steve, TGI Fridays filed for bankruptcy. Okay, so
right, I knew that.
When was the last time you ate at Fridays?
I wouldn't go there. Not on a bet.
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a while, and that's why they're in trouble. So, but if you received a gift card for your birthday or for Christmas or something like that from Fridays, you have to use that now because it's going to be worthless. And what the Wall Street Journal article suggested was that TGI Fridays is going to have an influx of customers coming in spending these gift cards because they're afraid it's going to go to waste, which would cause even more problems for Fridays, accelerating the demise. But my public service announcement is to make sure you use those cards now.
Yeah, because come Saturday, Fridays won't be here. That's right. PeakWM.com/Gruber. You can get a free Roth conversion analysis. Mr. Roth and his team of CFPs love Roth conversions. Now's the time to take advantage of that before the end of the year, especially if you're in the 12% tax bracket. Again, you can learn more at PeakWM.com/Gruber. PeakWM.com/Gruber. You can learn more from Nick anytime. Nick, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Same to you, Steve. Thank you.
There you have it. Let's hope for a great 2025. I'll take 12%, won't you? I'll be right back.